Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very well thought out, very well planned GBC Live. Um, I know this is actually last minute, but you just didn't read into that. We're very good at hiding these things. But yeah, I think that it's been a very interesting month for people that are cyclists. We still have a lot to get off of our chests on what's going on. And I think Vic and I just we need this as an outlet. So if you happen to be watching on Facebook, you can hop over here to Instagram, or YouTube, which should probably give you all the information. Which I'm just going to quickly copy over to our Facebook group in case people are really vibing uh, on joining us right now. At 8 p.m., which would be now. Very professional. And let's just bring Vic in. So, hello, Victor.
Hello, Zach. Are you excited?
I am. It's been a rough week. Just trying to.
Rough week.
Well, I mean, we've been very invested in the tour this year,
Oh, yeah. Yes,
and it's not just the tour itself, but I think that we have some favorites, let alone the fact that we both stepped onto hollow ground at the same time. So I think our involvement level is a lot bigger. So there's a lot to talk about from the tour this year. And I know this is a gravel channel. So let me just quickly get a couple gravel things out of the way. This Saturday, if you happen to be up in Big Bear, San Bernardino Mountains, I will be there for Tour to Big Bear. Vic will be in Mammoth, where we'll be in September for Mammoth Tough as well. I'm still working on trying to go to some other events in between. Hopefully, the last in gravel adventure. I dropped the bike off in Sacramento in Velo Veritas, a very fine shop in Old Sac, to maybe make this possible. We'll see. I'm still in the planning stages. So hope to see you either the Saturdays, September, or if you're in Mammoth, just wave hi to Vic.
I'm going to do recon for Mammoth Tough.
Okay. Yes. And we will have our pre-shakeout ride too again, which is a lot of fun.
That is one of the best rides we do up there.
It is.
It really is.
I mean, I understand. Part of it is because it's single track, and I know like when the real shakeout ride happens, that would be a real mess to bring that many people out there. So we don't promote it too much to get people out there. We just do it maybe for ourselves because it's just such a great little piece of single track. So that's why we pretty much vibe on doing 2 rides in one day. So I don't know. Where do you want to start on Tour de France? Do you want to talk about the experience? Do you want to talk about the riders, the race itself, some of the bigger controversies?
I think all that has been hashed over and over, like people thinking it was a foregone conclusion that Pogačar was going to win, which is not, because anything can happen. I want to talk about the experience because I've been to France. This was my 3rd time now. And after seeing what I saw, I know I've never been to France because that experience was completely, it was way more than I thought. It was way more exciting. It was way more visceral. It was way more, it was emotional even because, riding on the course, when you see all the signs and the banners and the people parked on the side of the road, I was literally overcome with emotion, which I've never felt on a bike. So that's what I want to talk about, was the experience. I mean, it was second to none, right?
Well, so I was there a month before you, and we didn't exactly plan it to be any biking. I was just happy to spend time with my family, but we had rented an apartment from my wife's friend in Avignon, which is about an hour from Bedouin, where the Mont Ventoux climb starts. And he gave us such a great deal. It was cheaper than a Motel 6. I couldn't believe he was so nice to us. But he said, Zachary, you're a cyclist. Yeah, Zachary. You're a cyclist, and you have to do Mont Ventoux. We're so close that I commend you. And so I just turned to my wife. I was like, and I obviously I've done it almost 300 times now on Zwift. So it was real interesting to IRL it for a change, because it's kind of like you riding blind your whole life. You understand the feel of it from riding it on the bike, but you don't have the visuals because it mimics some of it on Zwift, but it's not exactly 1-to-1. But it was kind of like great to have the Zwift experience because I knew what was coming up. I knew where the tough parts were coming up.
How do you know? Because there's 3 ways to go up. So how do you know which way on Zwift they go up? Because it's not really, like you said, it's not 1-to-1.
No, they go up. They go up the way that the stage normally takes place.
Okay.
And so the one from Bedouin is where they normally done it. I think there's a few times where they've gone up to Bedouin and then gone down and then back up. But the Bedouin way is the main way. The Salt way, which is now the one that you did, I can't pronounce that town, Marcelon, or that actually is almost identical to the Bedouin route. It's almost the same distance. The grade's just a little bit lighter. But the Salt way is definitely the easiest of the 3, even though it meets up the Bedouin route for the last 3.5 miles. And this didn't make the video, but to be honest, if it wasn't for the history, that first 3 quarters of the especially that middle part where you're in the forest, you're trapped in there. So it's just really hard to grasp things because there's not too much there in that forest. But once you get to that upper quarter and you see Chalet Reynard, and then you make that turn, you see and I know the same thing for you. When you saw that tower, that had to have been amazing.
It just came out like the heavens opened up and there it was. Because I was wondering, I couldn't see it for like 90% of the ride, but I came down the way you went up. So I saw all the features that you had on the video because I was lost on my way up thinking I was on that road. And we were like, where's the fountain? Where is this? Where's that? Where's the forest? But the climb was hard. And so when you got to the top and you finally saw the tower and the mass of riders and people that were up there, it was like you really felt accomplished. And you couldn't wait to take a picture in front of the silly sign. Everybody's standing in line and take a picture in front of the sign, like that was the goal. But the view from there is just epic, and everything about it was just like surreal because I've seen it for so long on television. For like 30 years I've been looking at this, and it's kind of like, I guess, how tourists feel when they finally see the Hollywood sign or the Eiffel Tower or whatever your thing is you've never seen. For me, that was that feeling like, wow, I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah, when I got to the top, and I'm sure you had the same thing, it is very emotional.
It was,
and it's not necessarily the climb itself. I mean, we've done climbs that are tougher.
Oh yeah,
which is hard to do, but at the same time, it's like such a culmination of everything you've done in cycling, and to actually be there at that exact point, at that exact moment. It's just as big as this planet is. You found it.
Yep. Yep. Like that surprised me. I didn't expect to be emotional. I don't think I've ever been emotional on the bike. That was crazy. So the experience was second to none. We were saying, and as much as I love Sea Otter's gigantic. It's huge. It's the biggest thing in cycling over here. But this made Sea Hunter feel like a yard sale. I mean, it was like, this thing is enormous. Everywhere you go, everyone's super happy. Everyone is there because they want to be. And I don't know, it was like, I've never experienced anything like this. I can only imagine it's like if the Super Bowl moved down the street and went from community to community. That's how that would feel. Like, that's the size of this thing. Like,
now
bigger.
You went to stage 16 and
17. Yes.
So, I mean, my questions, having never, I've been to tour California and, up to Baldy and a couple times when it's been LA.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Baldy is the closest thing you'll probably get to TDF mountain experience. But, my questions were, especially there being with my family, because if I make a trip to France, it's probably going to have to be everyone. But like family, like, is it worth the trouble getting up there? Because I know you have to get up there early.
Yes.
Is it, how long did you spend up there? How crowded was it? Where did you go pee?
Okay, the answer to question number one, is it worth it? Absolutely. I couldn't believe how many kids were up there. And a lot of kids rode up there with their parents, little bikes, like, 20-inch wheel bikes, and they're huffing and puffing up the hill. And the reason why it's worth it is because the caravan that comes through before the riders, everyone knows the famous caravan, but it's kind of like the Rose Parade, but all cycling stuff. And these crazy vehicles, like, it's almost like the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, but in different forms. Things shaped like bottles, things shaped like barrels, things shaped like all these different products that they were hawking, and they're throwing stuff to the crowd. And I noticed after a while, it took me a minute to figure it out, but they're throwing most of the stuff to the kids. So there was a little girl, a German father and his daughter, they were right next to me. And I kid you not, almost every vehicle that went by, she got a prize. So by the time they were done, she had like 5 hats. She had all these keychains and scarves and all these doodads and things, to the point where I finally got something thrown at me, and it was a pink poncho. So I gave it to her. I don't want to. So she got that. And then her dad recognized, man, this guy's got nothing. So he gave me that Velux hat that I got. I wouldn't have got that. That's the only reason I got that hat is because he got it. She literally had 5 different hats: Skoda hat, Velux hat, all these other hats, because they just kept throwing stuff at the kids, which was great for kids. So yes, it's worth it for the family. I highly recommend it. Now, we had to wait for hours before the Peloton came through, but it didn't matter because everyone was partying. There's always music going on. There's people dressed crazy. There's people running around. You were never bored. It was great. And then before you knew it, you saw the motorcycles. Actually, you saw the helicopter in the distance first. So you knew it was coming. Then the couple motos come, and then here comes the breakaway, 1s, 2s, 4s. And then the Peloton comes, and you're like, ah! And then, it was just like amazing. So yes, it was worth it. And where do you pee? Wherever you can. It was plenty of places to pee, because we were like almost in a park-like setting. I saw women going in, disappearing in the bushes, just fine. Men, no problem anywhere. There's trees, bushes, plenty of places to go. And nobody's tripping because everyone's doing it.
Now, when you did the stage the next day, which wasn't a mountain stage, and you were in a town, how did that differ?
Completely different experience. First of all, we drove in and parked on a straight flat road and walked right into the little town section and found a spot. So the first stage, we had to ride in for 20K before we found a spot. Here we literally just walked into a place in the street, and they had hay bales around in this corner, and luckily they weren't placed where they were supposed to be. So they had us pushed all the way back to the curb. And then the how do you say police is gin and deer? I don't know how you say it. they came and moved the hay bales way closer to the road. So the whole crowd, we were all looking at each other. We all just moved up like 40 meters, and now we're right in the apex of the turn. That's why I got such great video, because we were literally right touching distance to the riders in this apex. It was unbelievable. So the thing that was really different about this one was you're in town, so it's all little shops. You're on a street instead of on a mountain road. You know, you're just in a little town. So you could see a little bit down the street. You could see the other way. So we could pan as they went by. But before the riders came, it got super quiet. There's 1,000 people all around me. And it was like you could hear a pin drop. Then you heard the helicopter. And then you see a guy in the distance going like this, some kind of official. And the first motos come through. And then everybody starts screaming. And then the peloton comes through. So it was like, I've never been around so many people and so quiet. Like everybody's anticipating the riders coming through. And then they flew through, and then all the vehicles go, all the team cars, the doctors, and then find the broom wagon, and then it's over. And then people just went to the cafe, including us. We just went to a coffee shop, pulled up, got some espresso, was watching the tour on the TV. It was amazing. So that was way easier, the stage in town, because you don't have to ride in. We got a great parking spot. We walked for like 5 minutes, and it was the easiest thing ever. Leaving the first stage took forever. There was 700,000 people in front of us on bikes, walking, and cars. You couldn't see anything but heads in front of you for as far as you could see. It took forever to get out of there. And the next day, we walked out, we were in our car, and we were gone. So it depends on which stage you go to, how easy or hard it is to get to. Now, Ventoux was well worth the wait. Don't get me wrong. It was great. And I was happy to just tread through all those people. That was another great experience. Everyone's talking, everyone's hyped on it. You see all the campers, all the costumes, all the signs. You know, that was an experience in itself. But it was super easy the second day being in town.
Wow. Yeah, when we were there, we were in Annecy, which is about 20 miles south of Geneva.
Okay.
And I knew that the tour wasn't going on while we were there, but I didn't know the Dauphiné was taking place.
Oh, damn.
And so then I was looking, because like our train, which came into Annecy, the race passed just like 8 miles north of the town. About an hour before we got there.
Oh,
I was like, oh. And next time I will check this out, because I know, I'm sure like a lot of people, and I saw over there a lot of people with bikes on trains, and just even, now starting to look at maps, the Zwift heat maps, like connecting like Annecy to Albertville, and then Alpe d'Huez isn't too far from there. There's a lot of connections, and it just, what's interesting about Ventoux is it's on the western edge of the Alps.
Okay.
So it was kind of hard to be like looking over there and seeing how much and understanding the scale. But when we were kind of a little bit more nestled in between, because I mean, here in California, you try and figure out how to connect things, and is the riding palatable? Like if you had to go across the Santa Monica Mountains, or even if you go over the San Gabriel Mountains, like how far are you going to be from a town?
Right.
If it goes wrong. But, the more I look at it, it's like definitely more palatable to have to deal with the issues, with the adversity, and maybe what you do is you do 60-mile days, 100-kilometer days, so you could like enjoy, maybe do 1 or 2 climbs a day, because very few climbs are as long as Mont Ventoux. Alpe d'Huez is probably about 75% of it's probably like 70% of the elevation.
So, it's like half the distance too, I think, isn't it? It was 23K to the top to Vancouver from where I started, and up to West is like 12 or 13, I thought.
Yeah. So,
Sure.
no, I'm definitely having more confidence in making a trip because,
And by the way, the Dauphiné was great. So, man, you missed out.
yeah. But then again, they would have just like ridden by me. I had no idea what was going on
Yeah.
at that point. And that was the thing with when I was over there, YouTube TV didn't work for me because I had on my American phone. So I couldn't, even though I could have watched it, it didn't happen.
You don't have a VPN?
Not in my phone.
Come on. I have a VPN. I was watching Peacock over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, if obviously, I mean, this is some stating the obvious, but if you have a chance to go to the tour, go. Do not miss it because, first of all, right now the riders, we got Tade. He's like probably the best ever. So I got to see him twice live, which is amazing. Biniam, I missed him the first time because they go by so fast that I was looking for him and I just missed him. And then I missed him again on 17, but I did get him on video. So he went right in front of me. And somehow I missed him, but I got him on video at least that time. And I could see, oh, there he is right there. So that was amazing. Unfortunately, you know, Remco and Vanderpool were out. So I didn't see those guys. But I saw up close and personal, I saw Sepp easily. I saw Healy. I saw all the big guys like really close. And so that was really cool. And it just really lets you know how small most of these guys are. Like, well, you know, even Wout, who's supposed to be a big dude, he's not that big, really. And those other guys are just tiny. Especially like Lenny Martinez. He looks like he's 12. He is so small, that dude. And I saw him up close and personal. So just getting a gauge on these guys and how awesome they are, but how really, if you didn't know what they did, you wouldn't even think they could run around the corner, let alone conquer all those mountains. So those dudes are amazing. I mean, really.
Yeah. And I think that I guess we could start shifting towards the race itself talk.
Yeah.
As amazing as they were, yeah, the final week was a little strange. I mean, I thought week one, Jonas just wasn't in shape. Didn't seem to be there. Week two, he seemed to be pretty close. But then week three, it was kind of hard to understand everything that was going on. As a week,
what was going on was they had unassailable gap. Like they were going to make up a 4-minute gap. It just, I mean, they're good, but they're not that good.
Well, not likely, but there just was a few things that, you know, the big key, because he didn't lose too much time to Tade on Vaughn 2. You know, the last two chances were the 18 and 19.
Yep.
And 18 kind of went guns a-blazing. But, you know, they stuck with each other, you know, and that was the one O'Connor won.
I did not understand that. Why did he just sit there on his wheel? Why did Jonas just stay there with him? You're not going to make time like that. So I don't.
Well,
but I don't. I didn't understand the strategy there.
You know, what I thought they were leaning towards there at stage 18 was that, okay, maybe what we're trying to do is to tire him out and his teammates out so that we really can go for our big attack on 19.
Okay.
And that was like kind of it, because not a lot was making sense for them to gain time on stage 18. But on 19, which mad cow disease or whatever shortened it, it made it even shorter. What was really confusing was both of those teams like lost all their support really early. And you saw some of the other smaller teams have like a few people to charge up there. You know, Felix Gall's team, he had a couple people with him, because
He did.
the Yates brothers were out. Mateo, I understand, but even Kus didn't make the first climb, which was really strange. And I just was like, what is going on here?
Can
And
I
then
throw, can I throw out a conspiracy theory? Can I throw out a conspiracy theory?
No.
I was wondering after a while, are they really working for Jonas? Like Mateo was great, and then he wasn't all of a sudden, and then he was back, and that was weird. And same with Sepp. Sepp's always killer in the mountains, and he was back, and Yates was back. Those dudes are always dialed, and they just weren't this time. And I don't know if it was because they weren't physically ready, but maybe they just stopped really supporting Jonas for some reason. His wife's drama or I don't know. I was just thinking like this looks like they're just not really working for him. That's my conspiracy theory.
I don't know. Like I would think of those guys.
The whole team under the bus.
What?
His wife threw the whole team under the bus, the whole organization.
Oh, I missed that. What happened?
Oh, you didn't hear about this? Yeah, she was saying that they were working him too hard and blah, blah, blah. She had all this negative stuff to say about the whole team and everything. And I don't think that sat well with anybody. And I've always noticed, even long before this, I always noticed that after Jonas wins or does something well, he goes straight to his wife, which is fine, and kisses his wife and his kid. But he doesn't really give his team the props like, any other rider is hugging and high-fiving and shaking hands with his guys and thanking his guys and his domestiques. And I mean, it's a team sport. And Jonas just goes straight to his wife, who I think maybe is like have a little control over him. That's just my thought. I don't know that for a fact, but you didn't hear about this controversy. It didn't go over well with the management or with the other guys. So you should look it up.
I guess I will.
Yeah.
I noticed he was friendlier with the camera when he was riding a couple times, a little like that while he was out there.
He's waving to his wife. That's the whole point. Every time he does this little thing, he's not waving to anyone but his wife. That's a message to his wife.
Oh, there was that basketball player that used to do that.
And that's fine, but acknowledge your teammates. Acknowledge the help that you need and that you get. I mean, his team is amazing. He's got these Superman guys, and I don't think he really gives them back. Tade, make sure. Did you hear what Tade said to Adam after the race? He said, "How did your day go, Adam?" Like Tade just won the Tour de France, and he says, "How was your day, Adam?" Like a kid. That's the joy that he brings, and that's why he's so likable. And his teammate, they love him, and they'll kill themselves for him. And I don't think it's like that for Jonas. That's my theory. So somebody can fact check me on that, but I there was a lot that just rate like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that a lot of those, I think Mateo and Kus and Wout, they're professionals. Like a lot of people in that team. And I thought that Tade is a better rider, but Jonas has almost as good of a chance as winning a Tour de France thanks to the team. The team seems to be more cohesive normally, stronger, more versatile.
Okay, so what happened?
I don't know. I mean, like
analysis. I don't know.
I mean, I just think like some of their performances fell off so much. I think maybe part of it was Yates's win. Like that might have taken something out of him.
Okay.
Because there was a couple times where I was like, oh, he's not in there. Kus is starting to age a little bit. But Mateo's
30.
Huh?
He's ancient. He's 30 now. No, dude.
There wasn't as much, even though like like the Giro, there wasn't as many places for Wild to shine as a team player in the same way in the tour course. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, like Tade's team was pretty, losing Almeida was like definitely by far the strongest person.
Uh-huh.
And I just was like, this team isn't like that strength wise, isn't too different than the team they threw out for the Giro. I was kind of surprised McNulty didn't make the team. And he's not going to race the next race either. He's not doing any Grand Tours this year, which is very suspect.
I don't know
but yeah, like what bothered me most was, well, stage 19, there was two things. What first started bothering me was Primoz doing Primoz things, just going out to try and
wait,
improve.
what stage did he wear? What stage did he come out there with no socks? That was a wrap when he did that. I was cheering for him, but when he came out with no socks, I'm like, I'm out. That was terrible.
When he took off on his own on stage 19 early on, and his teammate is holding third, but is in a close race for the white jersey, and losing Primoz at that time, like, okay, I guess you're not going to help me try and get the white jersey. And he ended up taking off early, and then fading and losing by like 12 minutes after that. And yeah, and he's doesn't have a contract for next year, so I doubt he'll be back with Red Bull. If he is, he definitely isn't going to be doing the tour. So there was that, but then like Jonas's strategy, and I can compare, like I've got a comparison of why it really bugged me stage 19 was that, obviously Tade wanted to win that stage, come home with another stage win. And but he didn't want to lose the tour, but he did want to try to win the stage. And he took an initiative on a big part of the climb there, but Jonas was just sitting on his wheel the whole time, like, well, maybe you'll want it so badly you'll crack, because I'm not going to go for it on my own. And that's what bugged me, was that Jonas was basically just going to sit back and not be the aggressor. Whereas in the very last stage, and I can debate some of his tactics, at least Tade went for the win.
Yeah.
He risked it I just, it didn't sit well that he didn't.
That's another reason why Tade is more likable. The dude's exciting. He went for it. I mean, there's people saying that it's boring. They know he's going to win. It wasn't boring. You did know he was going to win, probably, but it was still exciting to watch. It was amazing to watch. Mm-hmm. I've read comments where people say, I didn't watch because I knew Tade was going to win. Well, that's stupid. Watch and see how he won. See why he won. Maybe he wasn't going to win. You don't know. So I think people are just haters, and Tade is great. He's great, and he's great to watch, and he's great when he's interviewed. He's just the most likable dude. I don't know how you can not like that guy. But Jonas, he comes off bitter sometimes, or aloof, or like I said, he doesn't hang with his teammates. Just, I don't know. I think Tade is more of a complete package. Jonas is amazing, but Tade is even more amazing. And even without a stronger team, as you said, he still pulled it off. So it didn't even matter. But it was great to watch. And I'm so glad I got to see him live. I actually saw him in 2019, but I didn't know who the hell he was. I saw him at the Tour of California when he won. And I never heard of him. In fact, I'd never heard of UAE. I didn't even know who that team was at the time. And they've come a long, long way, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I remember
used to it.
when we were there on the Baldy stage. We were down there, but I decided to run up a little bit, and I was running alongside. And at the time, TJ Van Garderen was the I think he was leading the race, and obviously was EF's, was a prime guy. And like, I think I got Tade going up there, and you could see like Rigoberto Uran was up there and kind of saw Tade going, and then like look back and like, where the heck is TJ? And it was kind of like that moment in the race that
Yeah.
he was like, oh man, we were not expecting this. And whatever it was had pushed him to the limit, because there was still probably about 3 miles left on that Baldy climb. And that Baldy climb, so great. I mean, out of all the races we've watched on TV, the Tour de France, like, I love the dynamics of
Yes.
the Baldy climb.
Yes. That was as close to a Tour de France type stage that we ever had. And but I remember the finish at the Rose Bowl more than the Baldy climb because I was so close. And when they announced his name, Tadej Pogacar, like, who? What? What did he say? Like, his name was so weird and he looked so young and like, what? Who is this guy? And now look at him.
No idea.
The whole world knows him, and he is the GOAT in that short of a time, that's staggering. It's staggering. So if you didn't watch because Tadej was going to win, you missed out on history, and shame on you.
Yeah. Well, I guess the last controversy was this new ending for stage 21.
You think it's controversial?
I think that the riders didn't like it.
The sprinters didn't like it.
Yeah, but
the riders didn't like it. The sprinters didn't like it because it took away their. I mean, sprinting on the Champs is like, that's what you want to do as a sprinter, and they took that away. So that sucks for the sprinters, but I don't know if everybody didn't like it.
Well, I thought I heard Geraint Thomas not like it.
Really?
A few others.
What about Wout? Wout liked it.
Well, I've already heard that they said that it's going to be back for next year. And I can see why, because, seeing that final circuit normally, like, you can't get close to the action. It looks like the sprint circuit that they normally do, you really can't get close unless you're probably in the VIP area. And those trees along the Champs-Élysées, they're so voluminous and low, it's really hard to see. But the fact that it was going through that Montmartre neighborhood, right under Sacré-Cœur, I remember on our trip, that was like our last day we spent there on the steps. And I wasn't quite too sure if it was going right in front. But already, when you go there on a regular day, there's tons of tourists out there. And they were all packed on that staircase. And those streets were so narrow. What I liked about that is it gave an up-close opportunity for people in Paris to actually see some of the racing action up close, because pretty much everything else is just ceremonial until they go through the Louvre.
100% good point, because they're sipping champagne and they're going slow, and then they race around the shops real fast, and then it's over. This was way better to me.
Mm-hmm.
Way better, and then it involved strategy. And the yellow jersey, who didn't have to race, he had the race won because they stopped it. Where they stopped the clock, like he said after the 4th lap or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no danger of him losing at all after a while, and he raced for the win, which was epic because that rarely happens. Usually, it's just a sprinter sprint, and the yellow jersey cruises in, drink champagne. But Tadej put on a show and almost won the stage. So that, to me, was like so much better. So much better. You never see that happen.
Yeah, my one qualm with Tadej was, well, no. Like, the attack, the first time up, thought was smart. Brought the group down to like 25.
Yes.
Well, it was smaller, but they all regrouped before the second climb. I wouldn't have attacked on the second climb. I would have thought someone else would have led the attack out of that group because, it's not just him who wants to win that stage, it's other people that want to do that stage. And some of those guys would want to split that group up even more.
Okay.
So I was kind of surprised. I would not have attacked because like after that second attack, you could still kind of see him, he was lingering back out of that group of 5.
He was.
And he had to do it wasn't just he was in the back, but he was like a couple strides behind people. So he had to like do some work just to get back into it.
He had to bridge the gap. But he was tired, dude. he was worked. And just the fact that he even tried is crazy to me because he didn't need to. He didn't need to do any of that. He had the race won. All he had to do was go and celebrate. And he's such a racer. He's such a competitor that even while he was suffering, clearly, he still tried to win. And while it was like just too strong at the end, while just on the third one, he was gone. But just the fact that he even tried it to me is like, dude, I love that. I love that. Look at where Jonas finished in the way back. He just threw up the white flag. He came in so far back because he didn't try anything. So to me, that's even more like yuck on Jonas. Like you didn't even try. Like, of course you weren't going to win or bridge 4 minutes, but you just coasted in. You just mailed it in, which is not a good look.
Well, I mean, on the last stage, he's not. The time part. Well, what was funny was like before they entered Montmartre, like I looked up pro cycling stats, and they had already listed the GC winners. They already listed Tade because they're like, all they had to do, remember the time gap was they just had to cross after that 4th time.
Right. Then it was over. Right. It was over.
So, I mean, like everyone from that point wasn't really racing for anything. So, I mean, I can understand.
What about pride? What about thanking your teammates? What about, I mean, come on. After all that hype, all that work, all the TV, blowhards talking about it and commentators, and then he just mails it in. Come on.
You get to root for him in the Vuelta.
I'm not going to root for him. He's an amazing cyclist. He's the second best cyclist in the world probably, but he's not. He's the least likable. That's way up there to me because of a lot of reasons that I already said. So, I mean, he's amazing. He's amazing cyclist. But I really hate his time trial helmet, so I can't root for him.
He knows what.
That's the goofiest helmet ever. The whole team, they should just chuck that. I don't care how arrow that is. That thing's horrible. And plus, he's so little, it makes it look even goofier.
And it made no sense on that time trial.
No, uphill, straight up. He's out of the center.
Kind of like with the helmet, like it just was.
He looked like a chess piece on the bike, like a bishop. That was crazy. Anyway, so, I think they should keep that ending. I love that. You already said they're gonna, so that's great news. And I understand why the sprinters wouldn't like it. I don't know why most of the peloton wouldn't like it, but anytime they change something in cycling, I don't know why cyclists, and myself included, we're curmudgeons. We just don't want to change really quickly sometimes. So they'll get over it.
Yeah, and maybe what they do is they have an extra lap around the Champs at the end. That way, you can maybe bring people back. I don't know, but yeah,
still have a bunch sprint.
Well, the possibility
it would be so broken up, it wouldn't be a bunch sprint. It'd be ones and twos, and
Van der Poel and Like Grimai was in there after the first lap.
No, I was so happy he was hanging on the climbs. He's a pretty good climber.
Yeah,
he's a pretty good climber.
Okay, I'll get her. Sorry.
Not your phone.
that ghost. Did you move back into the haunted house?
It's my wife walking into the studio. The on-air light is on, and she just burst into the studio.
There's no on-air light. Let me take the doggy. Yeah, always.
I was going to say Ghost Dog. Is that from the Superman movie? No. Okay. Oh, have you been watching the Femmes?
Yeah, I have. And that crash was frightening with Demi Vollering and all that. That was really, really scary. And I'm glad she started again. But I want to say the most amazing, not the most amazing, but the woman that really I just can't believe how strong she is Lorena Vivas, the sprinter. She sprints like no other woman. Like she is just so dominant. She's the Tade of women sprinting. She just, you cannot beat her unless there has to be a mistake somewhere. And also Mariana Voss, how old is she? Is she 40? Like she could be
38.
Oh, 38. Okay. She's old enough to be some of these girls' mother. And she's still out there in yellow. So she is, wow, like so impressive. But yeah, I have been watching the Femmes. It's I'm having withdrawal from the other one, so I have to watch it, so I don't completely go into a spiral.
I think the racing. Well, I think the racing's been great so far.
Yeah,
I think that every year, like they kind of get a little bit more used to the format, the crowds. I do think the organization's got to be a little bit tighter because some of these crashes they've been doing, like it was amazing on stage 1 in the neutral rollout, there was a crash because there was a big one of those little softy things in the middle of the road, but they didn't have anybody waving. And so
I saw that in another stage. They came around a corner and it was just this rope furniture and a divider, and they all kind of panicked and left and right, and it was a big split, and like there was no one there. There was no warning.
Yeah.
And they're going fast, and that could have been disaster, as Bob Roll would say. Yeah, that was bad. So yeah, I agree with you. They need to tighten that up.
Yeah, and I also think that like the crashes, like Vollering, like that was a straight right hand turn.
Yes.
And everyone was just kind of starting to ramp up for that, get in a position for that sprint.
Right.
So they should have you could have said the people on the inside were going too fast, but I think they just needed to give a lot more space on something like that, because it just, like, if everybody rides it correctly, then you've created a super huge bottleneck.
Yep.
And
it was a pinch point in a way. So yeah, that wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to end well, unless it was like it was more strung out. But it was like bunched up.
Yeah.
And, the likelihood of touching wheels was high, and I think that's what happened. But man, it was like a ricochet effect too, because the crashing went from far back to all the way to the front of the corner. Like I watched it several times. I couldn't even figure out how some of the girls fell. Like, what happened to you? But man, that was a mess, and I hate to see that. I'm just glad nobody got seriously hurt.
Yeah. I mean, some people are raising a flag about how they handled Vollering after the crash and not giving her a concussion test right there, because she was definitely within the zone of.
Wow, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, apparently they didn't give her a test there. They didn't give her a test at the finish line, and. And remember when they were bringing her back, her two teammates were kind of like,
they were pushing her, and you could see her legs shaking. She was shaking like a nerve thing, or maybe I don't know what that was, but that didn't look good.
Yeah. And I just, that's the one thing that, as this race grows, like they definitely need to like really fast start matching, the organization behind it. Because it just like you don't want to lose a rider like that. Because I mean, what if she I remember I can't remember what year it was on Tour of California, but Tom Schoonge, he was descending Mount Hamilton and he crashed. I think he was leading the stage, but he crashed. And then, he crashed bad and he got back on his bike and he was just like wobbling around like this and nobody stopped him. And he kept on trying to bike and, they didn't have like the same protocols on concussions back then as they do now. But you definitely like if he kept on going, he's going down this descent that you go 50 miles an hour, and you just don't want to lose someone like a Vollering out there. And I know that people think they did her wrong last year in the tour. So yeah, I hope they can do better. Is my one.
Yes, agreed. I mean, you don't want to lose anybody to that kind of, something that's avoidable. Crashing is going to happen. It's a dangerous sport. It's going to happen, but these bunch crashes are like getting more and more prevalent. Like it's happening more and more. Like 10, 12, 20 people crash all at once at 40K an hour. That's really bad. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we got to fix that.
Well, we'll wrap it up here. But if anyone wants to check out anything, go to how do I add this? Go to Vic's Instagram. He's got some pretty cool photos of him being here on Mont Ventoux and interesting hat.
Everybody says that. I didn't notice that it looked like a hat till later, but I was trying to get it in the picture so you can see where I am.
And then this is you and Swanee on stage 17.
Oh, by the way, the shirt. I always wondered how everybody got one of those shirts. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. It's just a van comes that's got 1 million shirts in it, and they just drive the whole route, and they're throwing them out. So I was jumping up and down like a little kid, and they threw one to me, so I have one. And that's the hat that the little girl gave me, the little girl from Germany. Show Biniam again. So Biniam went right in front of me. I mean, that's so close. You can't believe how close that is to where I'm actually standing. I'm not zoomed in at all. And I didn't even see him because it goes by so fast. But again, I had my camera going, and there he is. And I was so happy because I love that guy. And I wished he won at least one stage. But this year, just things didn't work out. But, man, I'm so glad I saw him.
Well, remember, he's on that team for a while.
Yeah, he is, huh? They got him locked up till I don't know when.
This is
so speaking French to me, and I didn't understand what he was saying.
And I just learned because I know like the little D up here. I didn't know the D like is a designation in France for like a certain width of roads.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
So that's why like the D's are just big enough that there may not be a center line.
So 153 is what? It's a D153.
I think that's the other way up Mont Ventoux from.
Oh, I thought you said it meant a width of the road.
Well, I mean the D means like the street width is not.
Okay. So
it's only a certain.
It's not a measure. It's just a. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's see.
I saw bike path signs too around.
Yeah, I know. We've kind of like dipped our toes into the Eurovelo map.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And yeah, I've had this up for the last ever since you've gotten back. the list, and I've been watching some videos of people bike packing across, and they could have better graphics on this map because you can't always see where all these lines go. But
Hey, by the way, did I tell you I've increased my French vocabulary? I've doubled it.
oh, like from to de.
I've gone from 3 words to 6 because I got an app on my phone. I'm trying to learn more than the 3 words that I knew, which is I knew bonjour, merci, and oui. So now I know a few more.
Well, I bought a Tour de France magazine over there, so like I've been kind of like reading that and then like translating it, so I can kind of understand it.
That's
because like sometimes you gotta keep doing it. That's the one thing.
I know. Another thing, when people speak naturally, they speak so fast. And also in French, I noticed they swallow a lot of letters. So reading it doesn't necessarily look like the way it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
T's and X's at the end, they just disappear. And I don't know. But next time I go, I'm going to know at least 10 words.
Double.
I'm going for it.
Well, let's say goodbye to people. We next week, I think we may have Mig on from Grasshopper Adventures. Talk USAL. We'll talk about his Mega Hopper, which sounds evil. But
that is evil. I kept looking at that thinking, do I really want to do this? And the answer was, nah, that's way too much.
I have an angle.
Okay.
A half mega.
Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Like half mega, I would be totally down for.
Yes. Yeah, I'd be down for that. And that's still mega. It's so big. It's no.
Well, I know Jace will be for it. Like that's like like 418 miles. That's just a warm up.
Jace is 30. Something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll check out here. Thanks for joining us, laying us vent. I think we got some stuff off of our chest.
Yes. I feel much better now. Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.